I've got a few thank yous I'd like to say. First of all, the most obvious one is all of you. Because if you weren't here, if we all weren't here, this wouldn't be happening. And it really is amazing coming together, although of course very emotional, but also very beneficial, I think, to all of us. And I really hope for those of you that have spoken tonight, shared your thoughts, shared your images, that you feel something that you take something from this and being with the rest of the attendees this evening. It's a special day, and we plan to commemorate this date every year from now on for people that have been bereaved. But it's more than that. My husband, co-founder, his daughter Anna died by suicide 9 years ago today. And it seems impossible it's that long ago. So for Michael to be here, speaking in front of you all, being brave just like you have all been as well, I think it takes a real core of steel to be able to do this. Michael, I just wondered if you wanted to say a few words about how this event, when you knew what we were planning to do, which was a bit of a surprise to Michael, by the way, how it made you feel, how important it was for you as a bereaved dad.
Yeah, it's been a strange day because normally I'm working from early morning, as it were, and I haven't on previous 1st of May somehow had the time to actually think. Whereas today, I was flying back from Belfast and I had to get an early plane. So I was in an airport for, you know, the length of times you go to. I had some hours to spare. And so I did think back to what happened on that day. And I haven't gone through the details. They're too harrowing to do, but you can imagine the actual death itself. But when I realized that, in a way, that the support that I was anticipating would be here and is here, from all you goodly people who've come together, partly because we wanted to share the moment and want to continue sharing it because that lifts the burden. That's been the object of all our exercises. And slowly during the day, sort of, strange really, but Anna came back to life in a way that you all know. And I've been sitting here tonight, and I think Jonathan will remember. She was a very beautiful, her photograph is down there, very beautiful, very loving, very active, very sensitive young woman. And I've imagined sitting here that she's up there in that tower. And I can just see her leaning over the edge as she would do. And she's saying, Michael, what are you up to now? What are you doing in this castle? Trust you to do it in a castle kind of thing. Trust you to bring me back as an incarnation of a van with her name on. So she would be, you know, saying typical. I've always thought ever since, when I'm grappling with it, which you do from time to time, I imagine her sitting opposite and saying, you know, come on, Dad, get on with it. What are you on about? In other words, it's a sort of reverberation which penetrates every day, in a sense, because there's a moment in every day, but I had many more today. And I want to thank you very much for the support, and in the hope that it will continue doing that, because the aspect I haven't said tonight, but happened also on the day, I was acting for the families in the Hillsborough disaster. And I had to go back and obviously see them. I couldn't do it that day, but when I went back, it was really quite remarkable. I hadn't thought of it this way round. And one set of parents that I represented, I'm not going to mention their names, but you probably heard of them. They had a very different experience, but it was very, very similar in this way because of the death itself, but the father actually was on the ground floor of the terrace, and he got a ground level vision of the death of his daughters, 2 daughters. The mother was sitting in the stand next door, and she watched it from another angle. It's a bit like the Grenfell disaster as well, where people worldwide saw others dying, and we see a lot of death on the screen at the moment. But what the Hillsborough families did was what Yvette was doing at home, and they said, we understand. Our daughters were forced to die when they wanted to live. Your daughter was forced to die, in a sense, when she didn't want to live. But at the end of the day, they said, we're in the same position as you are. We have the same grief, the same gap, the same angst, the same lost sleep. And thereafter, there was a very different relationship between us. We all got on before, but after that, it's like, really good relationship. You don't have to say much. You understand exactly where they are. And that's what we hope we've done tonight. We know exactly where you are, and you know where I am. Thank you for those few words.